now welcome the first senior team from the Heathland School, and their topic is, was democracy the right way forward for Syria? Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Salai and I'm here with the Heathland School. As the chairperson of my team, I'd like to introduce Aqib Khan, who will be the main speaker of tonight, and Faizan Rai, who will be giving the vote of thanks. The issue that we would like to be discussing today is the Syrian crisis. We will be looking at the revolution of 2011 and deeming whether it is the right move for Syria. We will also discuss whether a democratic change in Syria would be the right way forward. The crisis is very relevant to us today, simply because it has led to one of the biggest humanitarian crises of our time, with over 4 million Syrian refugees at Europe's doorstep. These refugees, with what the political climate is currently suggesting, will be sharing our home. Therefore, we need to make an informed decision about what we can do and what is in our power to help them and move forward with our lives as well. I would now like to invite Aqib to the stage to deal with the issue.
2011, the year of the Arab Spring, the year the yearning for freedom was so powerful that it manifested into the revolution that sparked a civil war that still persists to this day. The year 2011 saw the Syrians crying for democracy, a cry that was not only heard in Syria, not only heard in the Middle East, but heard throughout the entire world. The year 2011 saw an earnest call for democracy, an earnest call for freedom, and essential civil liberties among the Syrians. And this call led to retaliation by the Syrian president and led to the biggest humanitarian crisis in living memory. Now, of course, when we first think about the Syrian civil war, we would imagine the Syrian president, Bashar al-Assad, to have done something about it, to have given certain rights to his people, to have given some form of self-determination to his population, the people who revolted, who protested for their rights. But he did the exact opposite. Instead, he implemented a wide-scale military crackdown against his own people, against innocent civilians who, just like us, wanted to enjoy basic liberties, the foundation of Western civilization, which is democracy. That is all they wanted. And Bashar al-Assad, the dictator in Syria, he did not give it to them. He wanted his power. And so, a military crackdown it was. So why did he do it? Was he not afraid that he would be kicked out of power? Did he not think there would be retaliation? Well, perhaps it was because he thought that Russia was a key ally, both strategically and economically. And the power of Russia suggests that Bashar al-Assad was quite confident in his ways. He thought he would not be removed from power. And this was despite international pressure from so many countries, not just the United States of America, not just Britain and France, not just the Middle East, the Gulf states, but the entire world, half the world, ladies and gentlemen. Half the world put pressure on Bashar al-Assad to stop the bombing, to stop the killing of his own people, but he did not listen. And this Syrian civil war has escalated so far because of his refusal to let go of power, because of his stubborn insistence that he needed power, that now the country suffers so much destruction, so much death, and so much carnage. Furthermore, the threat of the military invasion by the United States of America was not enough to deter Bashar al-Assad. And basically, what didn't deter him was the heinous crimes, the heinous power, and heinous weaponry that he possessed, such as chemical weapons, allegations against his government that he used chemical weapon and tear gas against his own people. That's the most heinous form of torture anyone can imagine. And apparently, he used this against his own people. Now, I possibly cannot overstate the extent of this crisis, the extent of destruction that has plagued the nation. Why not? Because in these 4 years, ladies and gentlemen, over 250,000 people have died. Over 250,000 people. Can we even imagine that number? That's, to put it in perspective, that's the entire population of this borough. Our friends, our families, our teachers, our seniors. These are the kind of people we're talking about. Innocent people who who just wanted to enjoy the same liberties that we take for granted in our everyday lives. And these were the kind of people who died. Apart from the 250,000 people that died, another additional 4 million people are refugees now. So how, you may ask, is this relevant to our lives as great citizens? After all, Syria is so far away in the Middle East, not even in the same continent. So how is it relevant? Well, I tell you it is relevant. And as Salah so profoundly put it, it's relevant because we are all humans. And this is the biggest humanitarian crisis in living memory. And because of the nature of this crisis, and the fact that not only 250,000 people have died, not only are there so many refugees on our doorsteps, but because of the essence of this topic, the fact that they wanted freedom. That is what is important. Should we also be revolted if we didn't have the same freedoms? Would we be willing to do the same thing? That is the question I put forward to all of you today. Now, of course, as citizens of this global village, of this increasingly interconnected world, I say that we should be helping the Syrians. After all, we will probably be sharing our homes with them. As refugees, they will be coming to our country. They will be sharing our homes. They will be sharing our flat. And so we should help them, just as we helped so many people after the Second World War, evacuees, people who were fleeing the carnage of the Second World War. We helped all of them. We gave them refuge. And so, the fact that this is also a crisis of not as much, but so great extent that we should help them as well. However, the question is not whether we should help. But the question is, was democracy beneficial for them? I say, even though democracy is such an important right, the right to self-determination is so important, I say was not beneficial. Why not? Well, because so many people have died. It's as simple as that, as blunt as that. Because so many people have died. Because the conflict has involved children, mothers, their entire civilization, everything they knew to be normal has vaporized, has vanished, and now they're displaced. Now they don't have any home. And because of that, I said, they shouldn't have revolted. I would applaud their heroism and everything they did, but they shouldn't have revolted. Thank you.
I would like to commence by thanking Arkin for such a compelling speech, and I sincerely hope that such a compelling speech has made you realise and think about the values we so often tend to forget today. Truly, the horrors of war continue to shape the lives of millions of people around the world. The bravery of those who were prepared to sacrifice everything for the values of freedom and for democracy, and to those who are willing to leave their homes and their livelihoods for the well-being of their children and their families, must always be applauded, appreciated, and commended. The suffering of those who are forced to live in a detrimental environment, burdened with fear and terror, must be remembered. Without a doubt, our thoughts and our prayers are with the 250,000 people in Syria who have unfortunately lost their lives, to the 4 million people of Syria who are now refugees in lands which are not their home, and also to the 22 million people who populate the once glorious country of Syria, who will be affected by this detrimental conflict. I wish to thank the Rotary Club for hosting such a thought-provoking event, to give us this platform to raise awareness of such a pertinent issues that has a profound effect on all of our lives, perhaps without us even knowing. I'd like to thank the Civic Centre for giving us the opportunity to raise awareness on this issue. I'd like to thank Councillor for attending today. To be sharing our country with refugees and to be able to offer, as a collective body, a helping hand to all those escaping the country wrecked of carnage, fear and terror is a privilege indeed. So finally, I wish to extend my gratitude to all of you people listening to our speeches today. If today after our speeches you have reflected upon the values we so often tend to forget, or upon the pain inflicted upon millions of people in Syria, then I believe that we have been successful in our objective here today. So thank you for listening.